Now we're going to return to the day's politics now, and pleased to say that the Health Minister, Stephen Kinnock, joins us this morning. Very good morning to you, Stephen Kinnock. Thanks so much for talking to us. I know you want to talk about moves regarding toothbrushing shortly. You've got an announcement on that we're going to delve into. But in the meantime, I do want to ask you about Ukraine, first of all, because President Zelensky has confirmed that there are going to be talks between Ukraine and the US next week in Saudi Arabia. How hopeful are you of progress there?
Well, it's very welcome that those talks are taking place, and I think it reflects absolutely what the Prime Minister's been saying, which is that we've got to get Ukraine to the table, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. And what we're also working to do is to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position for when these talks do start. The Prime Minister, I think, has played an outstanding role as a statesman and an honest broker between the United States and Ukraine and our European partners and allies. And those are all the key factors that we need to bring together to deliver a just and lasting peace.
Yeah, and you described the Prime Minister as an honest broker, but Sky News spoke to the Russian ambassador to London yesterday, who said that Russia wants a quick peace and London is at the head of those resisting it. What do you make of those comments?
I think what our Prime Minister is at the head of is building a coalition of the willing to enable Ukraine to be in the strongest possible position going into talks with Russia, the United States and ourselves and our European partners and allies. And I think it's absolutely vital that we remember this war could end tomorrow if Russia were to withdraw. Russia is the country that conducted an illegal and barbaric invasion of a sovereign territory. And we now have to hold firm, we have to be resolute, we are unwavering in our support for President Zelensky. The Ukrainian army have fought like lions, and we've got to ensure that we secure a just and lasting peace. The only way to do that is through strength.
Still some questions over what the US's next move might be. Donald Trump has said that he wouldn't defend NATO countries that didn't spend enough on defence. What do you make of that?
Well, Donald Trump's not actually the first president to say that the European arm of NATO needs to step up. More needs to be spent on defence. The military capability needs to be made fit for purpose. Sadly, in our country, we've seen our armed forces hollowed out by 14 years of conservative neglect and incompetence. And it's about now rebuilding our military capability to look after our own backyard. And, I think that's fair enough. The challenge has been laid, and we must now show that we are equal to that challenge. It was very good to see European leaders committing to £800 billion of additional investment in military capability. Our Prime Minister has announced a significant £13 billion additional spending on defence. So we are recognising the challenge that we face. We recognise the world is changing, and we've got to step up and show that we can meet that challenge.
And let's turn now to the announcement that you're making today. You're announcing a national supervised toothbrushing campaign in schools. Why are so many children going to school unable to brush their own teeth?
Well, sadly, again, after 14 years of conservative neglect and incompetence, the oral health of our young children is in an absolutely shocking state. The biggest cause of 5 to 9-year-olds being admitted to hospital is to have their decaying teeth removed, often under general anaesthetic. That is a completely unacceptable position to be in. So I'm really pleased that we have today delivered on our manifesto pledge to launch supervised toothbrushing for 3 to 5-year-olds in the most deprived communities in the country. There's a very clear link between deprivation and tooth decay. But this is very much a partnership. It's about early years educators and parents and the kids themselves coming together to improve oral health. I was very privileged to be in a primary school yesterday where I saw the supervised toothbrushing. They had a lovely song that they brushed their teeth for 2 minutes to that song. I spoke to parents afterwards who said it's been a game changer in terms of helping them to get their kids to brush their teeth at home. So this is a win-win about improving oral health and preventing very expensive acute treatment that is needed if you don't get oral health right from the get-go.
But there are a lot of head teachers that are really worried about this. They say, for starters, this should be a parental responsibility, not another burden placed on schools.
I just don't see it as an either-or. This is a both and. This is about we as a government and all of the communities in the country recognising that oral health for young children is in an absolutely shocking state. Are we just going to take our hands off the wheel and let that continue? Or are we going to say there's ways of actually working in partnership with parents and with early years educators to address this situation? And it helps parents at home with toothbrushing. It makes sure that the kids understand the importance of oral health. And it's also much better value for the taxpayer. £1 invested in a prevention scheme like this delivers £3 of saving further down the line. And this, of course, comes on top of the 700,000 additional urgent appointments that we've announced and our commitment to radical overhaul of the dental contract, because not enough dentists are doing NHS work across the country. So it's a mountain to climb. We've inherited a terrible situation, but we are step by step getting on top of it and once again giving our country a national health service and a dental system that we can be proud of.
Yeah, and I think a lot of dentists would say it's still got a very long way to go. I haven't got very long with you. I do also want to ask you just about smartphones and kids, because a private member's bill being brought forward by backbench MP Josh McAllister is being debated today, looking at protecting children from the adverse impact of social media and smartphone addiction. He was hoping to ban smartphones in schools and raise the digital age of consent to 16. The government doesn't support that. The bill's been watered down. Why does the government not support a ban on children using smartphones?
Well, the government will be setting out its position from the dispatch box in the chamber later today when the bill gets its second reading, so I don't want to preempt that, but it is clear that my colleague, the Technology Secretary, Peter Kyle, has listened very carefully to what Josh McAllister has been saying and has commissioned research to look at getting the evidence base to show whether or not a ban does actually improve behaviours and does improve outcomes for our young people. And I think it's really important that we take decisions and make policy on the basis of evidence. So I think we all await with interest the conclusion of that research, and we're certainly very committed to enforcing the ban on phones in classrooms. It's absolutely clear that phones should not be in classrooms. That is a learning setting. But the question around the total ban in schools that Josh McAllister's bill is proposing, I think the jury is still out on that and the evidence base is being gathered.
So you're confirming that the government is commissioning research into this. Can you confirm that the government are going to take the bill forward themselves?
Well, the position will be set out from the dispatch box when we have the second reading today, so I don't want to and I can't preempt that. What I can absolutely say is that my colleague, the Technology Secretary, is looking at this very carefully, sees absolutely the very valid points and proposals that are made in the bill, but is also very keen to ensure that if we take decisions and make policies, that has to be on very well-researched evidence, and that's why he's commissioned that important piece of research.
OK, well, Stephen Kinnock, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much.